Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another walk in the woods. Today's plan is to aimlessly walk around with my camera, see if I can see anything interesting, and if I do see anything interesting, try and get a picture of it. So the location today is a bit of woodland that is 50% oak dominant, and then the other 50% is silver birch. I'm kind of on the border at the minute, so if you can see over this way, it's mainly big old oak trees, and then over in that direction, it's quite dense birch. So plenty of potential photographs to be had. The trick is finding them, composing them, and getting a bit lucky with the light. So it's mid-February now. I would say mid-February, arguably one of the hardest times of the year to get photographs. Everything's dead, there's no growth, the sun is still quite low, which means it's still a bit dull, it's a bit gloomy. But yeah, I like a challenge, so got a few hours until sunset and I have nowhere to be, so I'm going to be here till it gets dark, and I hope that I get at least one or two decent pictures. Let's do it. Okay, welcome to my first shot. So I've been walking around now for best part of 45 minutes and I've not taken a single shot. Although I do feel like I've walked past 100 shots, I just haven't been able to see anything. It's just one of them days. So to kick the day off, I'm photographing this little section of lichen and moss. So fallen tree, covered in moss, covered in lichen. I think these are called pixie cup lichens. These have been photographed 1,000 times before, but I'm going to photograph them again anyway. So I've been trying some different angles, different compositions, and I found one that I like. So there's one little pixie cup that is bigger and higher than the rest, and I've got him on the left hand side and he's leaning over towards the right, and it's almost as if he's looking over the rest of them. And then I'm purposely down low shooting up with the sky in the background to skylight him so he pops out of the image. And then yeah, the light today is a bit flat, but for these kind of close-up shots with these greens, it actually looks pretty nice. So I'm going to kick off with this shot and then we'll move on and see what else we can get. Look at this, I found a pond. Oh, that's big, it goes all the way up there. I was not expecting to find this. You can see down there, there's a big old oak tree, standing tall amongst all these other smaller trees. It's missing a lot of its bark, so it's got a really dark trunk, which is contrasting quite nicely against these other quite lightly coloured trees. And I've got a nice clear bit of nothingness all the way down to it. I'm not expecting much from this image. It's just something to get me started. You know, I've taken a couple of shots, and on the back of the camera, it looks a bit eerie, like just a kind of standalone sentinel alone in the forest. I'll take a few shots, play about with shutter speed. It looks good when it's dark. It also looks quite good when it's brightened up a bit. But I'll take a few shots. I'll get home, have a look, and I'll put them up on the screen, and you can have a look and see what you think. I think this is quite a good example of a cluttered woodland. You can see how dense it is in here. It looks fantastic, but very, very difficult to try and get a photograph. It's very difficult to pick out composition. Okay, so I've been walking around through these woods now for the best part of 2 hours, and I've not seen a single picture. My photography brain seems to have been switched off, and I just can't see any photos anywhere. I really want to photograph the forest, but because it's so dense, so many trees everywhere, it's very difficult to pick out a single nice composition. So what I'm doing now is I'm photographing these fungi on this fallen tree. These fungi, I'm using quite a wide angle, so these fungi are going to be at the bottom of the image, sort of at a slight angle, and then in the background you can see the thick, dense forest. So I've taken a few slightly different shots. My idea here is to use this fallen tree and the fungi on it in the bottom half of the image, just to give the image like a sort of subject. And then the top half of the image is going to be just a thick, dense forest. It'll be slightly blurred out in the background. So although the image has got like a main subject at the bottom, which is these fungi, you can see in the background just how wild and dense this place really is. I've taken a few different shots, just slightly zoomed out, slightly zoomed in. But when I get home, I'll have a look, see which one I like best, and then I'll put it up on the screen for you to see. It wasn't supposed to be raining today.